Welcome to the Miami Dolphins Today. I am Nic Rohloff, and we have a fun show on tap for all of you today. A lot of talk about here. Tyreek Hill, does he want a new contract? Does he not? We'll talk about that. Malik Washington, was he a sleeper addition to this Dolphins roster? And then Pro Football Focus actually graded and ranked the entire NFL's offensive lines. Where did Miami stand out amongst the NFL? We'll talk about that all. But first, I do have to let y'all know that we are just getting our July like battle underway. And this month, we got pitted against some of the big bosses here at Chat Sports. The Raiders Report, Bears Now, Steelers Talk, Cowboys Report. I want to prove that Dolphins Today is among the top, if not the best channel here at Chat Sports. So help me out by hitting that thumbs up icon. All right, let's talk about some Dolphins rumors. We're bringing back the rumor mill and the Fins, baby. Tyreek Hill doesn't want a new contract? Yeah, that's only one Fin. It's a small shred of truth. Tyreek Hill clearly wants a new deal after getting passed up by A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson in terms of highest paid wide receivers. Hill wants to be paid like the top wide receiver in football he is. He did have this quote yesterday that made people believe, well, maybe he actually doesn't want a contract extension. I don't think that's the case. But here's what Tyreek Hill said. He said, oh yeah, for sure. So very excited for it, man. But the real goal is to win the Super Bowl. It's cool to get paid and all that, but being able to win a Super Bowl and bring something special to the city of Miami, that's something that can live with us forever. I believe that's very monumental for all of us. Create greatness, man. And I'll start by saying this, right? I love Tyreek Hill going out there and saying how badly he wants to win a Super Bowl for the city of Miami and this Dolphins organization. And he's not wrong. Like, winning a Super Bowl, the Dolphins organization would be ever so grateful. And obviously, like, the fans have been wanting this so badly, right? Just have not seen a high level of success in the NFL. So a championship might literally burn down the 305. But let's be honest here. We know this too. Tyreek Hill wants a new contract. I mentioned that he got passed up by A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson this offseason in terms of highest paid wide receivers on an annual basis. But let's not kid ourselves either. Like, Tyreek Hill is still the third highest paid wide receiver in football, tied with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I get it. He doesn't have a lot of guarantees in next year's contract, but it's not like he is underpaid. I will say this, though. I think there is something to be said about getting Tyreek Hill extended. I do want to extend Tyreek Hill and make sure he is happy and well paid, as he is one of the top wide receivers in all of football. There's no doubting that. But I think it needs to wait till next offseason. The Dolphins have two other contract extensions they must get done relatively soon. Tua Tagovailoa and Jevon Holland. I'd like to see both of those young guys get extended so they can't test free agency next year, or Miami has to use the franchise tag on them. So Tyreek, even though, yes, I want him to be extended to make him happy and be here for the rest of his career, you got to get Jevon Holland and Tua done first. And there's no doubt that people may be concerned about Tyreek Hill potentially slowing down as he gets older in age and gets on the flip side of 30, right? But after you've seen him perform in this Mike McDaniel offense and work with Tua Tagovailoa over the past two seasons, like, you just have to do it. He has been so damn good, having 119 receptions in each of the last two seasons, as well as having 1,700 yards or more over the past two seasons, as well as having 20 combined touchdowns. Like, he has been the best or second best wide receiver in football. There is no other option than that. Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill are the two best receivers in football, and it's just a matter of which one you believe is the best. But Hill, the dynamic speed and game-changing ability he provides for your offense and striking fear into the opposing defenses, it's no denying that he should stay a Dolphin for the rest of his life because he helps Tua Tagovailoa and he helps this Dolphins offense reach new heights. Let me know, though, is Tyreek Hill the best or second best wide receiver in the NFL? Like I said, there is no other answer than one or two. It's either him or Justin Jefferson. But I want to know the Dolphins fans' thoughts down below. If you think he's the best wide receiver in football, type those ones. If you think he's behind Jay Jettas, type your twos. All right, let's shift the conversation to another wide receiver, Malik Washington, the 6th-round pick out of Virginia. Is he a sleeper addition to this Dolphins team that we haven't been talking about enough? Y'all know it, baby. Put the paws in the air. It's 4 fins up for Malik Washington. He is going to be a stud. It's an absolute lock that he is a sleeper addition. This was originally talked about by Bleacher Report as they labeled him as one of the top 10 sleeper additions in the NFL this season. This, by the way, didn't just account for draft picks. This accounts for trades, free agency moves, and draft picks. So the fact that Malik Washington cracked the top 10 shows how much he is getting attention from the national media, and just like us. Well, either way, here's what BR said. It was easy to overlook the addition of 6th-round wide receiver Malik Washington. However, the Virginia product could quickly become a key contributor in Mike McDaniel's offense as a rookie. Washington is on the smaller side at 5'8" and 191 pounds. He also lacks elite top-end speed with a 4.47 second 40-yard dash. However, he's a physical receiver with a tremendous initial burst who can create chunk plays even if he isn't stretching the field. And if you've been with us on the channel since the NFL draft, you would know that I have been preaching to the choir, preaching to the heavens, however you want to phrase it, about how good Malik Washington is going to be for this team this year as well as in the future. I believe he was going to be a top 100 pick in the NFL draft. That's what our draft expert Tom Downey also believed. Like we all thought he was going to be gone after day 2. But he was there on day 3. He was there in the 6th round. Mike McDaniel pounced and got Malik Washington after he was one of the most productive receivers in college football a year ago, being a second-team AP All-American and leading the ACC in receptions and having 1,300 yards. Like, are you kidding me? In a team that did not have the best quarterback play either and isn't known for a high-octane offense, Malik Washington was one of the best receivers in Virginia history. And to me, when you think about how he fits on this Miami Dolphins roster, yes, you have OBJ, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. And those 3 are going to dominate the field and get the most playing time if they're all healthy. There's no denying that. But to me, Malik Washington is still the perfect slot receiver for a Mike McDaniel type of offense who predicates itself in quick passing game and making moves after you get the ball in your hands. And when you get those receivers in motion and the play fakes, the quick passing game with the slants, the drags, the screens, there's no one that I think can seamlessly transition from college to the NFL and make an impact like Malik Washington can. And even if he doesn't have the largest role on this team this season and ends up only having like 200 yards and some spot minutes and spot snaps, after this year is up with Odell Beckham Jr., it would not shock me if Malik Washington was good enough in practice and throughout the season to convince the front office they don't need to bring OBJ back. Unless he is unbelievable this year, they could probably let him walk after one season and trust that Malik Washington can elevate himself as this wide receiver 3. I'm bullish on the young buck from Virginia. Before we get into the last segment of today's show, like I said, make sure you like the video. We're putting out daily Dolphins coverage. Show your appreciation. It'd be very appreciated of us. And we wanted to win that July like battle, so help us out. All right, the last rumor that we have to talk about, Miami Dolphins. Do they have a bad offensive line? Well, PFF gave it an interesting grade, and I'm going to say 1 fin. Small shred of truth. There are some issues on the offensive line. There's no denying that. But to be a bad O-line, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. And I would consider this a bad offensive line ranking. Pro Football Focus graded the Miami Dolphins O-line as the 18th best in all football. That would put them, obviously, in the bottom half of the National Football League. I just don't think that's the case. We'll talk more about it, but here's PFF's reasoning. Heavily aided by the system and Tua Tagovailoa's quick release, the Dolphins' offensive line just got off to a strong start in 2023. Injuries soon hit hard, hindering the unit's performance. The Dolphins lost Robert Hunt and Connor Williams from the middle of the offensive line in this offseason, and Teron Armstead's durability is a question mark, preventing this group from being ranked any higher. And I get the Teron Armstead injury note. I get losing Connor Williams and Robert Hunt. But the O-line is not a bottom half group in the entire NFL. I just don't think that's the case. I get it. It's not the strongest point on this roster, but it's also not the weakest. Like, I don't really understand thinking that they have an issue here. They were really good against on run blocking last season, and with Tua's quick passing game, with the occasional play action deep shot, you're not asking them to really block that long that often, and it's certainly not as bad as the offensive lines in the early portion of Tua's career. Where do you rank the Dolphins O-line, though? So let's say PFF had them 18. Let me know where you have them ranked in the NFL. Give me a number down below. When you think about this offensive line, to me, I don't want to harp on this too much on today's video because it's been a main topic of conversation a long time. Right guard is the only concern for this team in this group. Austin Jackson at right tackle is perfect. Teron Armstead at left tackle is good. I think Isaiah Wynn's in for a good year if he can stay healthy. Aaron Brewer, I think, is a very capable replacement for Connor Williams at center as he signed a 3-year, $21 million deal. Right guard is the only question mark on this team. And, hey, there's even a chance they go out there and sign Greg Van Roten. If they're able to do that, well, then we're talking really, really good business here, folks. That's the only concern for me. I think it's a top half group. I'd rank it 13th through 15th probably in the NFL. Maybe I'm an optimist. Could say that, but if they sign Greg Van Roten, it could get really close to a top 10 group in the National Football League. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we are putting out daily content. This was also filmed during our live show on Tuesday. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss our live shows in the future because we have a blast. We interact live as well as do some mailbags. So make sure you are subscribed and make sure you tune in to our future shows and live shows.